Big Ben Strikes Again is a game that I used to play an awful lot as a kid, and then over the course of 30 plus years, I just completely forgot about it. I found it again when I was looking up Colin the Cleaner and spotted that a dual pack had been released featuring this game, and I recognised it straight away. I didn't remember too much about it other than it was a platform game, and rather than play the game, I spent most of my time in the built-in level editor because that kind of thing was fairly uncommon back then. We'll come back to that though. What is Big Ben Strikes Again? Well, unbeknownst to me, not only is it a fairly standard platform game, it's also a game in which you have to collect items to give to celebrities in order to piece together a hot news piece, because this is apparently what world-famous reporters do. As with all Spectrum games of this ilk, the visuals on display are an absolute trip. Random objects are your enemies, and level layouts are just completely bananas, requiring you to be stood in very specific locations in order to get from one place to another. The first screen alone had me absolutely baffled for ages, until I realised it borrows fairly heavily from Manic Miner. Basically, just working out where you need to jump from is a puzzle in and of itself. The problem is that most of these levels are just not particularly well designed. There are whole swathes of the screen that you often never need to access, and getting through doorways to move into the next area only requires that you walk into said doorway, which sounds okay, but in practice it means you'll have to maneuver around the doors if you need to get past one. So that's annoying. And while we're on the complaint side of things, some of the required timing to get past certain enemies is a massive pain in the arse, sometimes due to the hitbox of the enemy in question. Sometimes due to it being placed somewhere that's specifically designed to be as annoying as possible. Another mild complaint, the instructions state that you need to give gifts to the celebrities and you have to find the specific gift that goes with each celebrity. But if you take the correct route through the levels, you'll generally come across the correct gift just before reaching the celebrity, negating the entire puzzle aspect of the game because you just sort of win by accident. There are only 2 celebrities that you need to provide gifts to out of sequence. This woman at the start, no idea who she's meant to represent, and this chimpanzee policeman who I guess would be a celebrity if he existed in real life, because a chimpanzee policeman deserves to be famous, but he doesn't really fit in with the rest of the characters you interact with, like this depiction of Margaret Thatcher, who also appears to have been merged with a dog dragging its arse on the carpet. This is certainly a Spectrum game, alright? Anyway, that's enough complaining, because there is one thing that completely turns this game around. One thing that removes any ill will I have towards its shortcomings. And that thing is this animation. I could watch him wiggle his way up and down ladders like this all day. I have no idea why the creator of Big Ben Strikes Again thought people climbed ladders like this, but God bless him, he certainly made my day. Speaking of the creator, John Prince is the name behind this one, and that's both surprising and not surprising in equal measures. I played quite a few games from Mr. Prince, and they're always either good or at the very least ambitious. Also, sometimes casually racist, but at least he did it ambitiously. And that leads me back around to Big Ben Strikes Again's built-in level editor, which back in the 1980s was an incredibly generous gift to a child with a wild imagination but no idea how to start programming. Being able to put levels together, however crude, and then play about with them on the fly was absolutely the main reason I kept loading this tape back up again and again. Not only did he provide you with the option of creating the levels, but he made the UI simple to deal with, or, at least as simple as you could possibly get on a Spectrum. It's still an impressive little tool to dick about with now, knowing full well that this thing is nearly as old as I am. And that's Big Ben Strikes Again. Is it worth playing now? Not really. It's equal parts sloppy and frustrating and flickery, alongside the fact it's also pretty easy once you know what you're doing. If you were to head into the game specifically to make your own levels, well, that's cool. You can do that. It seems like an extremely niche hobby you've got going on there, but who am I to talk about niche? Overall, though, Big Ben is bare average as a Spectrum platformer and below average as a puzzler. The most enjoyment you're going to get out of this is if you create your own. Speaking of which...